about or discuss with these guys is because this guy won 1 ring or won 2 rings or won, like, it's just weird to me. It's like saying Peyton Manning.
To me, is top 2 all time. Now, if you disagree, you disagree. Where I get annoyed is when somebody's acting like I'm hating or disrespecting.
Stephen A. Smith begins with a powerful prediction. When Michael Jordan re-enters the NBA spotlight for the 2025-26 season, he will bring a level of honesty that is rare in today's polished media landscape. There's excitement in Stephen A.'s tone, but also a clear sense of inevitability that Jordan will say exactly what he thinks, whether or not it pleases fans, players, or executives. This is significant. Over the past decade, sports commentary has become increasingly cautious and brand-oriented. Analysts tiptoe around controversies, networks fear backlash, and social media can turn any strong opinion into a PR nightmare. Jordan, however, is poised to dismantle that paradigm entirely. He has never been someone to mince words. He's always preferred action over rhetoric. His return is more than a broadcasting gig. It's a potential cultural reset. Stephen A. recognizes that Jordan will pick apart modern strategies, question new norms, and hold today's stars to standards many of them have never faced. And because Jordan built his reputation on repetition, intensity, and championship pedigree, his critique won't be as easily dismissed as empty commentary. It's like hearing every coach you've ever had step onto the set and start coaching again. And because of that urgency, LeBron James, who has shaped much of the league's contemporary legacy, has good reason to sit up and pay attention. This isn't slander or shade, it's foreshadowing. Jordan isn't merely returning to airwaves, he's returning to accountability. And Stephen A. believes the shift is both necessary and overdue. As the countdown begins toward his broadcasting debut, brace yourselves. This could be the most impactful comeback in modern basketball history.
Let me tell you something about Michael Jordan. He's gonna be brutally honest.
Building on that, Stephen A. doubles down. The Michael Jordan coming back for 2025 to 2026 will be as candid and unapologetic as he ever was. In today's media environment, even the biggest stars often calibrate their words. They're coached, guided, and sometimes gagged by network executives. Jordan has never been trained to hold back. From his early days as a competitive force in college to his NBA dominance, he has always been direct. What Stephen A. is signaling is a dramatic shift away from conventional sports punditry. He's suggesting that Jordan's return will bring conversations about the game back to fundamentals, toughness, effort, accountability, and away from clickbait narratives. That means stats will be contextualized, pillaging super team dynamics will be criticized, and players who hide behind branding may find themselves called out by the man who defined authenticity. For LeBron James, who has built a legacy integrated into entertainment, business, and activism, that scrutiny may feel jarring. Jordan's critique won't be personal. It will be rooted in his envisioning of how the game should be played versus where it currently stands. Stephen A. paints this as a coming reckoning that some have been anticipating. But the power lies not in the anticipation, it lies in Jordan's credibility. He isn't going to pontificate. He will speak from experience, from titles, from a catalog that defines greatness. And that raw, unvarnished perspective may just cut deeper than any analytics or shifting narrative. For those who believe in the monolithic greatness of Jordan, this is a welcome moment. And for those riding the LeBron wave, it could be a moment of reckoning. Either way, Jordan's return promises to be more than nostalgia. It could pivot the league's cultural axis.
Michael Jordan, I know, when talking basketball, he is as candid as it gets.
Stephen A. then brings himself into the story. If Jordan dares to hold back, even once, he'll be there to amplify it. That is a bold admission. Stephen A. positions himself less as a mediator and more as a protector of truth, championing Jordan's blunt style while pledging to back him. On-set conversations will no longer hide behind vague described intention or softened criticism. Here's the principle. If Jordan sees the game watered down, he'll call it out. Stephen A. has made a vow to support that candor, even if networks don't. For LeBron and his supporting media ecosystem, this means Jordan's presence will ripple far beyond what he says. It's who backs what he says. In a media world full of echo chambers, Stephen A. has just guaranteed that Jordan's voice won't echo. It will reverberate. That creates accountability. LeBron's legacy is built on adaptability, collaboration, and media savviness. He has navigated a highly curated narrative his entire career. Jordan's return, especially with Stephen A. amplifying him, represents a phenomenon that undercuts curated narratives. No sound bites, no manufactured slogans, just experienced judgment. And LeBron's camp knows perfectly well that this is a different league of scrutiny, one not influenced by social media trends or media spin cycles. That's why the phrase "LeBron will feel it first" resonates. Jordan has always been direct, but now he has Stephen A.'s podium to amplify with no filter. For those who worry the game has lost brash truths, this feels necessary. And for those who have grown accustomed to media cuddling with players, brace yourselves. Jordan's return isn't about nostalgia, it's a reckoning. And with Stephen A. in Jordan's corner, it's clear that the spotlight will be more intense than anyone expects.
And I don't think that he's going to be shy about saying what he sees at all. In fact, if he is, he's going to have to deal with me because I'm going to be in his ear telling him, oh, we getting shy now. Well, that's what we doing. That's what we doing. That ain't the one I named him MJ, I know.
Stephen A. builds drama around LeBron's legacy when he states that the Kings' reshaping of the league, especially the Miami super team move, damaged competition. But more importantly, he claims Jordan's return will lay bare those changes. The core issue is not personal, it's structural. Jordan's brand of competition thrived on competition, star versus star, draft pick versus veteran. But when LeBron jumped to Miami with Wade and Bosh in 2010, he shifted power dynamics. Now, fewer players aspire to dethrone opponents. They build alliances. Stephen A. highlights how Jordan's creed valued proving yourself physically and mentally in battle in games that mattered. Super teams flip that script, dominance by accumulation, not by outworking opponents. With Jordan returning, he'll reassert the old values: accountability, intensity, one-on-one competitiveness. And LeBron, being the man who ignited the era of super teams, may feel exposed, not because of his greatness, but because the landscape he helped create undermines Jordan's preferred model. Stephen A. is suggesting that history will be recontextualized in Jordan's presence. LeBron can still be revered in history books, but Jordan's return and his potential comments puts the competitive shift under a microscope. It forces the question, which version of legacy was healthier for the sport? It's not a shot at LeBron's greatness, it's a debate about what kind of game future generations will remember. And that conversation, Stephen A. argues, could start with Jordan's presence and his unwillingness to hold back.
LeBron may have hurt the league. Fine, I can side with that, but not for the reasons you're articulating. Is when he joined Miami. You had everybody trying to join with one another instead of competing against one another.
Stephen A. Smith's reaction to the claim that LeBron James hurt the league is one that digs deeper than surface-level criticism. He does not deny that there was an impact, but he points to a nuanced explanation. According to Stephen A., the real damage began when LeBron made the controversial decision to take his talents to South Beach in 2010. While many justified that move as strategic and necessary for a championship, Stephen A. sees it as the moment that shifted the entire competitive culture of the NBA. Before that decision, top-tier players competed fiercely against each other, often refusing to join forces out of pride, rivalry, and legacy. When LeBron orchestrated a super team with Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh, he sent a signal to the rest of the league. Championships can now be chased collaboratively, not just earned individually. That one shift, in Stephen A.'s view, opened the floodgates. Super teams became a norm. Rather than battling their rivals, stars began seeking comfort zones and partnerships. What stings even more is that LeBron's impact on this front is rarely acknowledged. It is not about hating on LeBron. It is about acknowledging how his choices altered the ethos of the league. Stephen A. is saying that Jordan's return will force a mirror in front of the NBA. And one of the reflections that might look uncomfortable is this: the league has become softer, more coordinated, and less combative. And LeBron, even as the second greatest player in history, will have to come to terms with the fact that his legacy includes rewriting the very fabric of competitiveness in the NBA. Jordan's return, with his old-school mindset, might just expose how far the league has drifted from that spirit.
Hope we see a level of toughness with the game coming back, and I hope he calls everybody up.
Well,
I hope he calls everybody.
Stephen A. Smith has long maintained that LeBron James is the second greatest basketball player of all time. He's vocal, consistent, and clear about this ranking. Yet every time he makes that statement, he finds himself facing accusations of disrespect and hate from LeBron's fan base. In this section, Stephen A. finally draws the line. He explains that calling LeBron number 2 is not an insult. It is a compliment of historic proportions. To be number 2 in a sport that has existed for over 70 years, featuring thousands of players, is to be an icon of nearly unmatched greatness. But fans are rarely satisfied. They demand that LeBron be placed at number 1, and when that doesn't happen, they paint any dissenting voice as anti-LeBron. What Stephen A. finds frustrating is that people have forgotten the weight of the word greatness. To acknowledge Jordan as the GOAT does not diminish LeBron's achievements. However, LeBron supporters want universal consensus. That's not how sports work. Legacy is subjective, and greatness is interpreted differently by every generation. Yet, what separates Jordan in Stephen A.'s eyes is not just his 6 rings, but how he earned them, the fear he commanded, and the culture he represented. He never lost in the finals. He never needed a super team. He did not crown himself. He let the world do that. LeBron's case is remarkable but different. Stephen A. is tired of having to clarify that admiration is not always worship, and critique is not always hate. The moment Jordan walks back into the spotlight with his no-nonsense demeanor, the league and its narratives are going to get a serious audit. LeBron will remain legendary, but Jordan's presence might remind everyone of why number 1 is still number 1. And that is not hate. That is clarity.
To me, is top 2 all time. Now, if you disagree, you disagree. Where I get annoyed is when somebody's acting like I'm hating or disrespecting.
The debate over who the GOAT is will never fully die, but Stephen A. Smith offers a decisive statement in this quote. When it comes to the vast majority of basketball minds, fans, and legends, it is still Michael Jordan at the top. And that reality seems to unsettle many of LeBron's supporters. LeBron James has done what no one else has. He is playing in his 22nd year, still dominating. He is an all-time leader in many statistical categories. His consistency and longevity are second to none. But the GOAT discussion has never been about just numbers. It has always been about how someone made people feel. It has always been about dominance, legacy, fear, and cultural impact. Jordan was a force that elevated the sport globally. He was not just a star, he was a myth. LeBron, despite all his greatness, still chases that mythical status. Stephen A. says that the debate is not just statistical, it is psychological. LeBron may hold scoring titles, but Jordan holds the imagination of the basketball world. That is why no matter how far LeBron pushes his career, no matter how many 40-point games he drops in year 22, he will always be number 2. The crown belongs to Jordan. He earned it with sweat, blood, and rings. He never demanded it. The world gave it to him. And with Jordan stepping back into the league spotlight, many believe the illusion of a changing guard will fade. It will remind everyone what true dominance looked like. Not just talent or stats, but presence. Jordan's return could reset the perspective. And when that happens, LeBron will still be revered, but never feared the way Jordan was. That will be the final, quiet confirmation of where the crown truly sits.
About or discuss with these guys is because this guy won 1 ring or won 2 rings or won, like, it's just weird to me. It's like saying Peyton Manning.
As the NBA braces for Michael Jordan's return to its public spotlight, the temperature is rising. LeBron James, though celebrated, is about to feel the full weight of comparison all over again. The GOAT debate will reignite, but with Jordan present to speak, it won't just be noise, it will be direct. Stephen A. Smith has made one thing clear throughout these quotes. The legacy of greatness is not just about accolades, but aura. Jordan had it. Jordan still has it. And the league, softened by comfort and camaraderie, may tremble once again under the gaze of its true king. LeBron is historic, but Jordan remains immortal. Subscribe to NBA Showdown and drop your take in the comments. Who really wears the crown?